for anyone who's actually out there, hi. Long time no see. Unfortunately, we've been away for a little while as things have gotten pretty crazy for all of us. As some of you may be aware, my wife and I are expecting our second, which unfortunately has pretty much knocked Trist out of gameplay right now. It's been a pretty tough pregnancy, to put it simply. Outside of that, all of our party members, including the new Aurora, have full-time jobs, and it makes getting together exceedingly difficult. So, the group and I have been talking over the last couple of weeks and have been trying to come up with a solution where party members can come and go a little bit more at ease, as to not affect the gameplay. And as I was talking to Cannon, or Joe as some of you may know, he came up with me with an idea to take a little inspiration from Darkest Dungeon. For those of you that don't know, Darkest Dungeon is a game that was brought by Redhook Studios a few years ago, and it is a very, very unforgiving, tactical, turn-based RPG style game. And one of the very unique mechanics in the game is stress. And stress can cause your teammates to do some very unsavory things. Or, in some cases, people perform well under stress. And, hey, good luck. You got a little bit lucky and things are going to go your way. So, over the last week or so, I have been working on building a homebrew using the Darkest Dungeon setting and using elements from 5th edition in order to make this happen. So basically just wanted to announce that hopefully, if everything goes well, we should be able to start streaming a little bit more regularly back on Wednesday nights. And the way this is going to work is going to be quite different from things that we've done in the past. Each of our players are going to have 3 different player characters that they will be alternating through in the true spirit of Darkest Dungeon. The way Darkest Dungeon works is you have a group of adventurers that are part of a guild, and a certain number of them will dive down into the depths of the catacombs they do week. We're going to say it's every day. And in return, what happens is they have a small mission to complete. They bring up or gather loot, kill enemies, maybe kill a boss, and then come back up and bring the fruits of their spoils with them. Once they return from the dungeon, the heroes that went to the dungeon are therefore stressed and need stress relief before they're ready to venture again, if their stress was high enough. And there are various ways our characters will be able to get relief from that stress. So we're going to be using that element, which is why each person will need to create 3 characters. By doing that, you allow one character to go exploring, one character to basically train or prepare for their journey into the dungeon, and then your third character, in theory, will be resting from their previous adventure into the dungeon. So it's going to be a very interesting game mechanic. We've done a lot of home brewing to make it a high risk, high reward. There will be character deaths, so be prepared for that if you're not used to that. And most importantly is it's going to be very heavy combat based. I think most of our group would agree that the main thing they enjoy is combat, which is great. Story building's fun and all, but whenever you can't meet regularly and life gets in the way, trying to do world building, not only for the DM, but character building for each individual player, is exceedingly difficult. So we came up with this as a compromise. It's a lot of dungeon dives, quick in and out dungeons. There'll be different lengths to them, obviously, and some new mechanics. For anyone that's not familiar with Darkest Dungeon, you'll get to see what some of those mechanics are. And it is a very unique game and how it handles that. So I'm actually really excited to be able to do this for everybody, to bring this to you guys. Um, by all means, anyone who is watching, if you guys have thoughts or suggestions or comments, this will be an evolving thing going forward. Everything that we have set up is definitely not concrete, as we are completely homebrewing half of the mechanics for this campaign. So if you guys out there are experienced players or experienced DMs, or just randomly see something that you're like, hey, that'd be cool, by all means, feel free to shoot us a message on our, different forms of social media. Feel free to shoot it in the chat, whatever you want to do. Can't necessarily promise that we'll be using it, but hey, you never know. Um, so hopefully, everyone who's out there and will be watching at some point will enjoy going on this journey with us. This is definitely something I personally have never done before. So doing a whole campaign where I'm homebrewing it and borrowing elements from different things is not something I'm used to as a DM. Um, so it could be interesting, to say the least. The other thing that's going to be fun with this, though, is with the way we have it built and how quick in and out the different dungeon settings are. It will allow for some of our other players to step up and run a dungeon of their own. Or, in the case of if I, myself, or Eli burn out running a DM session, we can step back and take a player character. Even myself, which I will most likely be DMing a heavy amount of this, I will even have 3 characters into the village. They will not venture into the dungeons unless I go with them. So they will only go in when I'm a player character, but they will be a part of the guild that our group is a part of. So at any point in time, if I feel like I need a break, I can pass the baton off to Eli, for example, and he can go ahead and run a session. At the same point in time, if some of our players who haven't DM'd before would like to take a crack at it, this system should be set up and fairly straightforward, with a little bit of assistance to make it work where they can try. I'll have the overset story arc and everything set in place, and even if I'm a player character, since I've written the mechanics, I will be helping them with them. But there's no reason that Kyla or Cannon or Zira, any of those guys could not try to do this on their own as well. So that makes it kind of interesting, because all of us can try different aspects of D&D, which I think that's the whole point of D&D, is to be able to have fun with a group and really step outside your comfort zone, try something new. For anyone who's out there watching this in the future, if you've never played D&D before, I highly encourage you, take a character who is the polar opposite of yourself and try to play it. It makes the game, at least for me, a lot more fun, because you get to basically not be yourself, which I think is kind of the whole point of role-playing games to begin with, but that's just my opinion. So anyways, I'm kind of just rambling now, but I just wanted to welcome everyone to what will be a new series. I am sorry we have not been able to get deep into any of other campaigns. I know at some point in the future we would love to get back to them, but at this point in our lives, that just doesn't work. We can't meet consistently enough to really develop world building, which I think we really want to do. So, but this should give us a nice reprieve. We should still get into some funny antics. We should have a good time. There's a lot of neat things we'll be doing. A lot of, it's high risk, high reward. So you will see some very triumphant campaigns, and you will see some not so pleasant ones. So hopefully everyone is all right with this. Like I said, feedback is greatly appreciated. So if anyone has any thoughts out there on what we can do differently, please let me know. And if all goes well, we'll look forward to hopefully seeing some of you this Wednesday if everything goes great. Talk to you then.